Hello, my name is Callum. Are you wanting to set up a programming environment on a Windows computer? You've come to the right place. Here we're going to look at how to set up your programming environment on your Windows computer. Alrighty, so there's a few different options for programming on your Windows computer. Firstly, we have connecting to CSE via the internet, and there's a few different options for this. We have VLab, which allows you to have exactly the same desktop as you would on the CSE lab machine, transferred to your desktop on your computer. And this will be covered in a separate video. And we also have SSH with PuTTY. And this is the best place to start if you aren't sure where to start. It's a simple option that just lets you connect and have a terminal as if you were sitting at the lab machine with a terminal open. Next up, we have writing and compiling on Windows. Now this has an advantage of not needing an internet connection, like connecting to CSE. And so you can do everything directly on your own computer. And we will go through setting up a text editor, how to transfer files to the CSE servers once you're done, and compiling on your Windows computer. Finally, we have running Linux on Windows, and that has the best of both worlds. However, it's a little more complicated to set up. We'll be going through a Windows subsystem for Linux. We'll be looking at setting up a virtual machine, trying Docker, and briefly mentioning dual boot, and that's another option.
Alright, connecting to CSE using SSH is a great place to start, and you can come back later if you want to try any of the other options. The first step is to download PuTTY. PuTTY is an SSH client which allows you to log in remotely to the CSE servers. So let's open our browser, and all we have to do is search for PuTTY SSH. And it's this link here, www.putty.org, and we'll choose that one. And it says you can download PuTTY here. And we'll click on that here. Alright, we're given a few options. These are the two options we're looking at here, 32-bit and 64-bit. And we have to figure out, is our computer 32-bit or 64-bit? Most computers are 64-bit, but we can check by going to the File Explorer and right-clicking on this PC. Then under System Type, it will tell you 64-bit operating system or 32-bit if you have a 32-bit operating system. Alright, so we are going to download the 64-bit installer. So I'll click on that there. Now that that has downloaded, I will click on that and start the installer. And we can go through this. You can click Next, install in the default location, and it's okay to just leave it on Install PuTTY Files. Just agree. Alright, and it's okay, I don't need to read the README, so I'll untick that and click Finish. Alright, now PuTTY is installed. And to open PuTTY, you can click on the Windows start bar and just search for PuTTY. Alright, and that's the one. And so you'll get a window like this. Now, we're almost there. All you have to do is put in your ZID into the hostname field here, then at cse.unsw.edu.au. Alright, and we just want to leave the other settings as they are. 22 SSH. Alright, then that's it. We can click Open. A window will pop up and it will ask you for your password. We want to enter our ZPass. Alright. Now I'm connected to CSE. And it's just like I'm sitting at a computer in the CSE labs. Here I could use Nano as a text editor to write a program. Or I could use an editor like Vim or Emacs if you're interested in learning those. Alright, And here's a tip. Notice that when I log in, it prints out this message here. It's a login message. And as long as you've read and agreed to that, we don't need to see it each time. So, here's a little tip. If you use this command, touch.hush login, this command will make a blank file with the name .hush login. And as long as that file exists, when we next log in, we will not see that message. Alright, so that's it. When you're ready to exit, you can just close the window. Now, let's look at that again, because there's a few things we can do to make this easier. So we can save the session, which allows us to not have to type in our host name and details each time. So let's just put in our details again. Alright, and I'll set a few settings here. So under keyboard, under bell, let's set no bell. Under appearance, we can choose to change the font. The default is Courier New, and after a while it gets a bit hard to read. Or it's a little hard on the eyes, so I prefer Consoles, and we can bump up the font size to something that's nice and readable. Alright, we can also select anti-alias text, which will smooth the text. Alright, now this is a setting for later. We want to choose SSH and expand it down here and select X11. Also enable X11 forwarding. Alright, and then that's it. We can save our session. We go back up to the session, which is the top one. Under Save Sessions, we type a name. So I'm going to type CSE, and I'm going to save that. Alright, now that that's saved, next time we open PuTTY, and I'll do that now, PuTTY, we can just double click on CSE and it will load all our saved settings. There we go. So we've got nice big font and no login message. Now here's a tip. If you drag the window over to the side of your screen, it will snap to half the size of the screen. And this is quite handy for what we'll do next. And we want to take it a step further. We want to allow graphical applications as well as just the terminal, right? So how will we do that? We're going to do that with a program called Xming. So let's go back to our browser, and in Google we want to search for Xming, and it's this link here that will allow us to download the installer. Alright, now that that's downloaded, we can click here to start the installer. We want to agree. Alright, we'll just close that. Alright, let's go through the installer. Alright, we can leave these as the default settings, normal PuTTY link to SSH client. And just continue. Let's choose create a desktop icon for Xming. Alright, now that that's installed, all we need to do is make sure Xming is running. Now, you can tell if it is running because you can see down in the corner here if there is an X thing running here. If there's an X here, that means it's running. So as long as we have that running while we use PuTTY, that will mean that we can use graphical applications. So I'll use my saved session, which has the settings for X11 that we set before, and I'll click open, and I'll drag that to the side here to snap. Alright, now we can try Get It. Get It is a graphical text editor. And the ampersand at the end means that we can still use the terminal after we open Get It. So there'll be a short delay, and then it will open Get It. And we can snap this to the side as well. Now a useful thing to do, if you haven't already, is to set in the preferences, enable display of line numbers, highlight the current line and display the right margin. Highlight matching bracket is good as well. and set the tab stop to force for and use spaces instead of tabs. And you can enable automatic indentation if you like as well. Alright, so let's write a quick program to demonstrate that this works. Alright, let's just print hello world. Alright, so we can save that by going File, Save, or hitting Control S. And then, in the terminal, we can compile that by going GCC, wall, error, and the name of, after the little -o flag, we want the name of our program, hello, and then the name of the source file, hello world.c. There we go, so that compiled without any errors. And if we run it, it prints hello world. Okay, that's it. That's all there is to connecting to CSE using SSH and PuTTY.